Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Knowledge and Relationships Live Talk. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, this is your boy M3, and tonight's going to be definitely going to be something wonderful. So we're going to be interviewing, having a casual conversation with a formal basketball player, okay, slash author, okay, who's working on her book about basketball, okay. The other side of the court that I'm not really good at. But let me go ahead. I'm going to bring this person in. Her name is Miss Jasmine. So let's give her a warm welcome to Miss Jasmine, everyone. Give her a hand clap.
Hello. How are you?
Pretty good, Miss Jasmine. How you doing?
I'm great.
Nice, nice. Okay. Well, that's good. If you're great, then we're all great. Now, before I go ahead and crank the music up, right, to make it more pleasant, I also gotta, bring in Knowledge Relationships' very own, the best network manager in the world is Mr. Best in the world.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Um,
All
loose
right.
lip.
Now, before I go ahead and read the comments, let me go ahead and I'm gonna get into the groove of things because we can't have like a live talk while some music in the background. So let me go ahead and get this started, okay? Let's go ahead and play. What is this? Is it vacation? No, no, no. There we go. That's a little bit more pleasant. Now let's go ahead and we're gonna get to the shout outs real briefly, and then after that we're gonna get straight into the live talk process. First and foremost, I gotta give a shout outs to Miss Nebraska. She says, "Hey, we are ready. Thank you for tuning in."
Acorn Husker. Gonna be
Mm-hmm.
happy.
Oh yeah, no caps at all. You know what I mean? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute now. When the raindrops fall from the skies of heaven, we have our very own Canadian, Miss She Stole My Thunder. Thank you
Hey,
for tuning in. Just listening in the background, she says. Okay. And then we have the homie Truth is Never Favored. So thank you for tuning in.
Truth, what's good, baby?
Busting out that, that's the Spanish. And then he says, Jasmine can't hoop. I'm going to bust her bleep. All right. So we
The
already got Mid
lie.
Challenger on the court.
Lie.
Damn. That's how we're feeling right now. So, and She Stole My Thunder says, it really makes me laugh every time when you play that sound effect. Well, look, I'm always here to make someone giggle every now and then. But do it, be a doll, and please get the likes up. Please subscribe to Knowledge Relationships. If you know anyone who have not subscribed, encourage them. Also, help us to reach over 4,000 subscribers. That's going to be our next goal. We take things little by little. And also, share the stream to the social media. All right. Now since we got that out of the way, right? Let's go ahead and we're going to get to Jasmine. All right. So, Jasmine, we know a little bit of your background through social media. Okay. We know like, you be claiming you be hooping and all, right? And I take a word for that. Some people they're good at hooping and hollering. But I believe that you're a good hooper though. I see some pictures though. Um, you in the court. I just haven't seen the basketball yet though. Now, the other thing, in a more serious note, you are an author and bro, be keeping tabs like on the process, like you're really doing your thing as far as book writing. And that's something that I don't really see myself having applying that or learning that type of skill because it is a lot of mental work and you're typing pages after pages. So I wanted to kind of dab into that. We're gonna go a hybrid style a little bit. We're gonna talk about basketball and we're gonna talk about the book and just ask a couple of questions. All right.
All right. That.
But first, I also gotta do the traditional thing, and that is getting to know you and all about you. Can you tell us about
Okay.
yourself, Jasmine?
I mean, you done gave the intro. Well, my name is Jasmine. My favorite color is purple. No. So yes, I am aspiring to be an author. I have 8,382 words left on this redraft.
Oh wow.
But as far as like work, I do brand ambassador work, promo model. So that's kind of like whenever a concert or conference or whatever comes in town or I travel to it, I do like the check-in or directional or different things like that. So I've done a little bit of modeling, a little bit of acting. But hopefully with this book being finished, I can focus more so on the speaking engagements that I do too.
Okay. Let's jump in a little bit with the modeling and the acting. Now, you probably would have never know, but me and Bess, like, we are, slightly proficient, like as far as like theater and drama and all. And I did a little bit of acting. I had something that I kind of posted on my Facebook a long time ago because I know, knowing me, if it's in a CD, most likely I might misplace it somewhere, and then I'll find it years later. But one proof that I did had to show, and this was this short film that was called Trap Within. I didn't really have much of a speaking role. I was the mayor, and I was just kind of coming in, kind of naive, not knowing what was really going on, and it was just zombies just trying to like eat us, pretty much.
What?
If
you survived.
I can't spoil the ending, but if I could find
you tripped on air, didn't you? You tripped on air.
Why? Yep, that's it's because I'm black, huh? Is that's the reason why?
I'm saying, like, we be the first ones to go. That's what I'm saying. Something happened.
Well, what? I would like to think, I would say, or hope that I would have been the last to go out.
Okay.
But I ain't gonna tell you. Let's just say we went out with a bang. Okay.
You got to send it to me. I want to watch it.
When I find it, I will. Definitely.
Okay.
Now, so yeah, when it comes to like that type of stuff, like, and I did like a lot of improvisation. So how do I actually apply like something that I learned from like Laney College back then in 2017? No, 2007. Man, that's been so long. Into here. Well, we apply our theatrics on the live streams. So make sure that we don't get rusty. You feel me?
Feel you.
So before I go, Mr. Best, did you have anything that you want to kind of like chime in real quick? Okay, I think he probably stepped out for a little bit. No worries. All right. I'm gonna go ahead with the number one question, right? So how has being I might be jumping a little bit too much right too soon. Can you tell us about your basketball experience first?
Okay. So I've been playing it ever since really I can remember, but I guess like that first little intramural league, elementary school, and I just fell in love with the game. My mom played, and that was something I got to do with her, and then being around my cousins and everything, that was something we all could do together. So just continued the love of it. I played middle, high school, then I played at a junior college, and I knew that then I wanted to go overseas and play ball. And I knew Division I, Division II would be harder. So I thought, all right, I'm going to go D3. I can be All-American D3. And then, when I talk to overseas coach, it's going to be like, oh, I have All-American on my resume. So that is when I decided to go to the college that, kind of changed the course of how I thought. It just inspired me to get into anti-bullying work and whatnot, because I went there. I talked to the coach, and she told me that all I had to do to try out was get through 2 months of preseason. And I was like, oh, okay, I can do that. And I had compared my statistics from other girls coming in, some having only scored 6 points the entire season before, whereas I was averaging 13 points a game and 9.9 rebounds a game. And JUCO competition is harder than D3. But either way, I was thinking, okay, I had played with these girls and against these girls in the summer league, and so I kind of saw like face to face how it was going to be. And I thought, all right, 2 months of preseason, then I get to try out. I'm going to be good. But no, from the first practice, there was a lot of racial talk, and that continued throughout the preseason. And initially, I thought, if I'm so nice to these girls, I was young, I was 19, 20. I thought, I'm going to be so nice to you. Like, you can't hate me, and you can't, not want me on your team simply because I'm Black. But then I realized, okay, me being nice isn't going to change their hearts. Then I thought, well, I'm just going to practice even harder, and you're going to have to respect me as, okay, you want me on the team. And that didn't work either, because 2 weeks before tryouts, the coach called me in and said, I'm not going to let you try out. And I'm like, huh? And she's like, yeah, the other girls don't want you to try out. And I'm like, well, maybe that's because they're doing underage drinking. They tried to get me to do underage drinking, and I didn't do that either. But and I was like, I'm not doing the drinking with them, and I'm not making or laughing Black jokes for them. And that's probably why they don't think I fit in. And she said, well, good, bad, or otherwise, right, wrong, or otherwise, I'm still not going to let you try out. And so, my family and I, we tried to go through the administration. There was no resolve there, because they were defending the girls, saying like, oh, we know them, they wouldn't say these things, even though I had recordings, I had screenshots. But ultimately, I had to leave there. So I left the D3. I didn't get to try out. And then I ended up walking on at Bowie State University, which is an HBCU. It is D2. And my parents gave me a semester. They said, we have money to cover a semester for you to go here. So you have a semester to get a scholarship. And I did. I got on the team. I got in the starting lineup. I got a basketball and a track scholarship, and I got a 4.0 GPA. So I kind of went on or whatever, but that's where basketball has taken me.
Hey, that's what's up. And it sucks to kind of go through those type of moments, but when you have good character and determination, you don't allow those type of people to drag you down. Exactly. See, what they missed out was on something someone that could have been special and talented, that could have really benefited for their team. You know what I mean?
Right.
But because, women don't like each other anyways, and, you're always going to have some haters. So all those haters were basically your confirmation to something that represents success. You know what I mean? Right. That could be even more expounded than color. But I'm not going to dismiss that, because, look, depending on what state or what area, look, if it's predominantly white or Latino or whoever, and you're moving or in a different type of vibration, they're not going to like that, unfortunately. So, sometimes we all got to stay in our lane and try to work something out. So I'm glad that you wind up going to an HBCU, you know what I mean? That can actually benefit you and your talents. Now, okay. So then my other question is, now this is from what I heard, okay, while you're writing your book, the book is inspired by basketball, basically?
Well, yeah, it's inspired from the experience at that college, and everything that I went through. And the unfortunate thing is, what I went through isn't uncommon. There's, Black students, Black athletes being bullied every day. And there are things that are way more egregious than what I went through. So it's I want my book to, originally it was just a traditional memoir. And then I've restructured it to be more so a series of essays, because that allows me to address different issues that are going on that affect kids and students, whether that being disciplinary discrepancies, or just having to get through different policies, or administrators that don't necessarily listen, or they try to cover up what's actually happening. So that's what the book is going to focus on. I want it to highlight other stories that have gone on, and connect the dots, and see, this is something that we really have to address, and call attention to things that have been neglected because Black youth suicide is on the rise, and there's nothing being done to try to prevent it or call attention to it as if it were, white kids. So I kind of wanted that too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I definitely respect that, and I'm always going to be rooting for you as you're coming close to completion your book. And I can't wait to be one of the main ones that will download. Well, I'm assuming is it going to be like on Amazon, or do you have to get the hard copy?
Hey, I want to do like the traditional publishing route, but I'm sure you'll be able to get it either way. Hopefully.
Okay, well, I'll be looking for it. And I prefer for my books to be like signed and autographed by you, so that way I could be like, hey, yeah. I know this woman right here. Before you become famous.
I got you.
Salutes to Big Rick Slaps. Salutes to Wally. Thank you guys for tuning in and supporting the live stream, and for Jasmine as well too. So thank you guys. All right. Now, my other question is that so what do you think needs to be let me go through my notes real quick. Now, how has writing a book pretty much kind of helped you? You know what I mean? It could be personal, mental, spiritual, whatever.
I would say it just kind of validated everything that I went through, because a lot of the issue that I faced internally when everything was going on was that I was kind of telling myself this doesn't matter that this happened to me, and maybe I should have just went along with the comments that were being made, because then I could have been on the team. And I mean, that's just young thinking. As an adult now, I'm absolutely not. But just thinking maybe I was the problem. But throughout the lawsuit, there were things that came to the attention, emails and whatnot. And one of the things, when I told the coach what the girls were doing, she told me, well, I've had a variety of girls over the years, so I don't necessarily believe what you're saying. And there came a time where I snuck back on the campus. This was after I had left, and I snuck on the campus, and I got into the library, because when we were getting a lawyer, we're trying to prove there hasn't been Black girls here. And so I snuck onto the library, and I found over the course of 15 years, she only ever had 3 Black girls play for her. And she told me that was a variety. And unless we're counting blondes, brunettes, redheads, that's not. And since the lawsuit, part of the settlement was they had to recruit Black girls more heavily. And so, like I said, it took 15 years to have 3. I believe it's been 8 years now, and they've had about 6 or 8. So, the impact from that, but also when I'm looking up these different cases in the news and seeing these things are still happening and they're still occurring. And I want to be that voice for those kids and their parents to know, it's not their fault, and that you can stand up and you can overcome. For me, it was still being able to play the sport that I loved, and, going on to be more successful. I want kids to see that they can do that, instead of allowing themselves to be the punchline of, racist jokes, or B, doing things that they think is going to help them fit in. Because one of the issues I mentioned was underage drinking. And so there were 16 of us trying out, and 4 of us are Black. And it was myself and another Black girl that, didn't laugh or make Black jokes for them. And the other 2 Black girls did, and they were the ones that made the team. But it came a time that it was 2 of the girls' birthdays, and they wanted us to pay for alcohol. And I didn't do it because I wasn't going to the party, I wasn't drinking, and I was underage. So I got them these birthday cards instead, and got all the girls to sign it. That was in the beginning. I thought, if I'm so nice, you can't hate me. But the other Black girl that, I said, she didn't make her laugh at the jokes, she went to their party, and, she drank with them because she thought, if I drink with you, then you'll like me. And they got her drunk, and then they went and told the coach on her, and that is what got her not allowed to try out. And that's what they would have done to me had I joined in on it. So, I want kids to know that they don't have to do that. And the thing is, when I got to the lawsuit part of things, I wanted that girl to join with me because she had wrong things happen to her as well. But the school said, if you want to join in with Jasmine, that's fine. Unfortunately, we will tell the local authorities about your underage drinking. Then she'll have a record. But they said if you don't join in with Jasmine, we won't tell the cops and we'll expunge your record.
That's
Because
whack.
after everything happened, and do you know what Yik Yak is?
What's it called again?
Yik Yak?
Yik Yak? No, it's that's like a drink.
No, it's anonymous Twitter. It's an app,
Oh,
and it works like Twitter, but it's anonymous, and it only works like within like certain mile radiuses. But it was really popular on college campuses. And so the black girl that I mentioned, she started getting like death threats and getting called out of her name via that app. So she wouldn't leave her room, and she failed all of her classes because she was depressed. She didn't have basketball anymore. And so again, like when they were telling
man.
her, you don't join Jasmine, one, you will not get a record, and two, we'll expunge all of your all of your grades because she failed all of her classes. And so that was the option that she went with because that was better for her. And, I got to go home every day. So she was facing way worse things than I was. She was there 24/7, having panic attacks and things. So I want, to share this story for kids to know that I think, a lot of this generation would do like she did, thinking, okay, if I go along, they can't hate me and this will help me fit in. And then sometimes, that's kind of used, like the one of fitting in is weaponized against people in the long run. So I want kids to be wary of that too.
Wow, man. I,
It was a
I
lie.
no, well, one like no, I'm glad that you voiced that because that was going to be my number two. Like, how will your, you know, based off from what you experienced for your own personal life, and then what you saw in other people's lives, like I was going to ask, like, what way can you help encourage young women, especially of color, that's going through that? And yeah, you pretty much like well, I mean, with that story, like of what you try to do, I mean, that pretty much kind of answer, unless if I missed a little bit, but it yeah, it really does sucks that like you as a woman, as a person of color, and then you're trying to fit in with people that's not you, and you're thinking, okay, if I'm nice and if I the go along get along game, then they're gonna accept me for me, not realizing that was pretty much a setup.
Right.
So, well then let me ask you this though, a little bit different. What because I know your book is definitely gonna teach with young people kind of like what to do and not to get in these type of situations. But is there something that you think that you could probably add more into it, like as far as like the pros and cons of between like those type of relationships, like the life choices and all that you make? Like, what do you think that will be like more helpful when it comes to extreme peer pressure?
I mean, the chapter that like I talk about that, that's the
Hmm.
one that like I kind of hope, sheds the light for kids that it's like if it's something you don't want to do, and am I like, do I not know that drinking happens on college campus and underage drinking at that? Like, yes, we all know that, but if it's something that you specifically don't want to do and you feel like it as a setup, like you don't have to do it because me not drinking is what allowed them to not, essentially blackmail me. And, had I drank with them, then that's what the story would have been about. It would have been, well, she's a drinker. And it wouldn't have mattered everything else that I faced. So
Hmm.
just for kids to know that if it's something you don't want to do and just to be wary, like college sports, even without, like the race aspect of it, can get pretty vicious. These are people fighting for the scholarships and everything else. And so I just want them to know, like, if you, stay on the straight and narrow, like, and
Hmm.
even if, things work against you, you still can have, your happy ending. And like for me, that was going to the HBCU and, you know, that was a completely different experience for me. Like, oh my gosh, everybody here looks like I'm not singled out because of A through Z. And it was just like, it was just like a big family reunion. Like, it was a different kind of love being on that campus. So, that's just something that I want kids to know. But also like the mental health aspects of things. Like I said, like Black youth suicide is on the rise. And I think that it's something we don't talk about in general for kids, but specifically the Black male youth too. Because I think there's more like, whatever, men aren't supposed to talk about their feelings. And I think when you're an athlete and you've been playing a sport, like I said, since elementary school and you love it so deep, it's a part of you. So I can see how it would be hard for, if not harder for like a Black male athlete. You're on a college campus and you just want to fit in. And then it's like all this stuff is going on. I want the men to know too, like, no, you don't have to. Like, you can still, just focus on your sport, what you love, and still be straight. You don't have to be somebody's punchline to fit in.
That's definitely well said, because the problem is, Jasmine, is that like, and I said, I know women, they go through their stuff too, but I feel like for men, like we're always gotta be like in a hard shell,
right?
Because society will not permit our emotions to go at an all-time high, to go at a rise. So even if we feel like we just want to just break down and cry, we're not allowed to do that. Because some of the same people will say, hey, I want you to let yourself down and be open. But they know that the moment they're open, they're going to use their openness as weakness. You're going to get clowned by the women, and you're going to get clowned by other men.
Right.
So, that's why there's a lot of built-up aggression, because a lot of men can't really handle. It's like you can only handle so much.
Right.
All right. And so, the best thing is to try to make sure you continue to keep your focus, especially as an athlete, because there's going to be a lot of distractions. And then there's going to be haters. And God forbid, you're on the right track. You're doing the right things. And some woman who's probably going to be envious or jealous because she can't have you, okay, as a all-star athlete. And all it takes is just one lie just to say, like, oh, he raped me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's like, like, I think that that is like a talk that men should have to boys, like, before they get to college, and just be aware of situations. And, maybe you don't need to go to the parties because, what was his name? Brian Banks? Am I thinking of the right person? He was a football player, and he had like somebody like lied on him about that.
That could be him, but the story sounds familiar.
But yeah, like I think a lot of people should be having more conversations about college parties in general. But I do think, on the women's side, it is, be aware of your surroundings and, whatever. And then on the men's side, it's, be aware of your surroundings too. Like, because all it takes is one thing, like on either side, like all it takes is one accusation. All it takes is, okay, well, you were drunk. So are you sure you didn't okay it? And that's scary, because then your future is just gone if you can't prove it. If you don't have any evidence, and, in situations like that, what solid evidence are you going to have either way? And now you're stuck with this label for life. So it's scary for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Hey man, that's why you gotta do the best you can to make sure you protect yourself, because you try and be successful, you want to, like, stay in the right path. Like, you have to eliminate the people with negative vibrations, and you just gotta continue to stay focused,
Right.
All right, let me go ahead and get to some of the other questions. But now I know, like, the HBCU, the HBCU was definitely like a big help as far as like just being in an environment where you're loved but not tolerated. One question I do have to ask, right? And this is going to be a two-part, because I got to make sure You know. Now, are you? I'm assuming you're biracial. Are you mixed with black and white or
Yeah,
some other nationality?
yeah, black and white.
Okay, okay. All right. So now let me get to the part two. Um, were there times, right? Because I usually kind of hear this from other people, but it's funny that the people who are not mixed are usually the ones that kind of open their mouths about mixed people a lot. But have there ever been times like where you felt like, okay, you wasn't white enough, but you wasn't also black enough? If that makes sense.
Well, for me, I was always like raised as like I'm a black woman. Like that's how society is gonna see me and everything. So I know
Hmm.
like some people kind of have like that identity crisis thing going on, but like that's just how I was raised. That I'm a black woman, and part of my childhood I had to grow up in Tennessee. Um, my grandfather and my mother had cancer at the same time, so my mom and I moved down there so she could help take
Oh
care of
yeah.
him, and my dad had to stay up here because of the insurance. Like if he would have got a new job, they wouldn't have covered her. So growing up in Tennessee, it was a very very white town. So it was like a lot of them didn't I would they weren't used to seeing mixed people, I'll say that. And so you weren't going to be put in that in between category anyway, like so that wasn't really a thing for me. I'll say like more so being older and stuff, but that wasn't something that I felt at Bowie at all that affected me.
Okay, okay. All right. Well, I'm glad that that wasn't kind of like your experience where like you're trying to fit into like two different like ethnic groups. Um, but I usually hear that like a lot, so that's why I had to ask that.
I
But
understand.
like okay, when and like I said, I'm switching around from basketball to the book, right? But with the book, right, has the book ever like kind of like in the process kind of help you to like heal from some of the hurt that you went through? Like when you're writing and you're getting deep into, like your past pretty much. Have there
Mhm.
been moments like where you felt so much pain that you just had to stop and just take a woosah or cry out? Or has it been just helpful just to get all your words out there, in one book?
Um, it's kind of been a combination of all of those feelings.
Hmm.
So part of it is, like I said, like when it was just a traditional memoir, like that was just like reliving everything that happened. But like with this, I'm trying to prove, policies weren't abided by, and administrators,
Hmm.
covered up things. And so when I'm reliving, talking to the athletic director, and it was discovered like, okay, the other girls did do drinking, and they provided alcohol to minors, which is a felony, in Virginia. Yet they're allowed to
Mm.
stay on the team and I'm not allowed to try out. How is this fair when I haven't done anything?
Yeah.
And I can remember, like, the athletic director saying, well, don't worry about it because they're going to be dealt with severely. Either way, they're still on the team. But then, like, looking through the court documents, and, there's emails where he's saying, oh, this is no big deal. What's going to happen to them? It's not going to follow them anywhere, where nobody outside of the school is going to have any idea what happened. And so it's like, just stuff like that. And just seeing, like, how deep a lot of these people went to protect the whole situation, that is aggravating to me. But like I said, it's more so aggravating to me because it was just so easy, and that I know that this continues to happen. It's just like, how do you just not care simply because it's a black student? But just, stuff like that. Like I get angry, I get sad.
Hmm.
Um, but then, like, I just try to tell myself, like, this is going to be important to some kid somewhere down the line. Like, have you ever read a book called Warriors Don't Cry?
And I haven't read that.
Okay, well, it is about like when they were first integrating schools. It's one of the girls from it's her memoir, and it's a book that my mom got me like when I was going through everything. And so, that helped me get through what I was going through because I'm like, this girl, they were throwing eggs at her. She was getting death threats, all these things, and yet she stayed strong. So And so I can do the same. Like I can stay strong through all of this going on. And like that's what I want my book to be for some other student or student athlete. Like, okay, all of this happened, but I can use it and it's not going to break me, you know, and I don't have to turn to self-harm or just giving up like I can't overcome.
Mm. And that sounds like a good book because it teaches people, how to deal with adversity, like in a way where as long as like you're pursuing like it's kind of like the pursuit of happiness. If you ever watched that movie before with Will
Yeah.
Smith and Jada, because that's what kind of sounds similar to that. Because imagine you having an idea, okay? In his case, it was computers, but you're trying to get your product out there. Like we are our own product. So how do we sell ourselves? Not in a prostitution type of way, people, okay?
Right.
But how do we sell ourselves to the point where we're driving notice and we're getting ourselves out there? And it takes a lot of constant hard work, a lot of dedication and determination. So, and most importantly, just not having the spirit to give up. So, yeah, it sounds like one of those type of books that is definitely like a must read whenever like you're down on a slump or wherever you feel like, man, I'm making so many mistakes in life and I feel like things are just failing. So, what's the solution to it? So, glad you share that about the book.
Thank you.
And I gotta give a shout out to Miss Polly. Thank you for tuning in, Miss Polly. All right, she's giving out the pink wave emojis like on Facebook. I'm sorry, Facebook, but on YouTube. So thank you for tuning in, Miss Polly. All right. So Jasmine. So with all this that's going on, right?
Right.
What brings you here in the streets of YouTube? Okay, like you know what I mean? Like you're a basketball player. Even though I feel like I might school you one time a little bit. And I
In
don't
your
even
dream.
dribble like that.
That's the only
Okay,
place.
I just gotta put it out there. Okay, but and you're a book, you're an author. I'm like, what you doing in the streets of YouTube? YouTube is just nothing but a bunch of clowns that's trying to entertain. I don't know relationships, or knowledge or whatever, like us. But why? Why social media?
I think you can reach a lot of people that you wouldn't otherwise have the chance to via social media. And it's like, before like I started speaking about it and like doing podcasts and everything, I'm really shy and I don't talk that much. So, things like this help me like get used to having a voice and using my voice and not like being so, reluctant to do so.
Okay, for sure. All right. Now, and that's cool because like social media is definitely like a good tool. Like if you're utilizing it like well, I mean, most people they probably use social media just to, you know, date or just to talk or mingle along. But however, when you use social media to your advantage and you're using social media to promote your brand, like let's say like like the YouTubers like us. Now, I wouldn't even really be using Instagram like that because I have no reason to. But because like we're trying to be the best content creators as much as possible, you have to use social media as a tool to pretty much spread your stuff around. And honestly, without social media, especially like with Instagram, I wouldn't have met like a lot of people. Except shouts to Mr. Best in the World. So, um, so yeah, it is like a tool to pretty much reach out to other content creators and to try to network, which that's pretty much the goal, anyways. Building communities that's like minded.
Right.
So okay, yeah. Um, and then okay, do you have any plans, right, to do content creation? I know you're doing the book and all, but let's say after when a book is complete and you're posting out on like on Kindle and any other like platform that people can have access to read. Are you plan? Do you have any other plans like maybe to be a YouTuber or anything like that?
I mean, I've kind of like played with the idea of having a podcast, but they're so hard. But like one focused on bullying or anti-bullying and different things within bullying. I keep like starting and stopping an Instagram page focused on that. But yeah, like I want to cause like attention to different things involving bullying. So I can see it. It's just hard. Like I know that like beyond the editing and everything, just like the consistency and everything is hard. But maybe one day.
Okay, okay. Well, well, hey, like if you ever need some help or whatever, like we'll be here. We'll be around.
Okay.
Like I said, it's all about trying to help one content creator to the next.
Okay.
Now, oh, damn, we're about to get into some of these other good questions in a minute. So, but before I get to that question, let me ask you this one. So, when you received our invitation to join our live stream as a special guest, what was like your first thought about us, and what was the reason why you gave us, gave Knowledge and Relationships a chance to have this live talk with you?
Um, like I watched some of y'all's content and it wasn't, it was good. It wasn't like aggressive. It wasn't like yelling. It wasn't, all these things. I thought it would be a safe space. So after like I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, okay, that works.
Damn, I must be doing something wrong. Playing it too safe,
No,
huh?
no.
I'll mess with you. But thanks. No, I appreciate that. I mean, that's pretty much the goal, anyways. Like, we want to do something that's kind of like not in the norm. You know what I mean?
Right.
Excuse me. Unfortunately, to say this, like, I'm not trying to diss Black YouTube, but we want to get out of the stigma of what other people think. Like, hey, all they do is just yell, argue, talk about gender wars, and a bunch of nonsense. You know, like if we're going to talk about a bunch of nonsense, let's actually add some solutions to this. Okay,
Right.
whether if you take it or not, or you choose to be unruly, you know, at least you have the solution in hand. Okay, I gotta give a shout out to our dear sister, Miss OG Patrice. OG Patrice is in the building. Greetings, salutations, but don't forget reparations. OG Patrice, reparations. So thank you for tuning in. She says salutes to your beautiful guest panelists.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
OG Patrice. Indeed, yes, Jasmine is a very young, beautiful woman with a beautiful soul. Until the feminism kicks in, then that would be a
What?
different story. All right, because the feminism come in like all shapes and forms. But anyways, thank you, OG Patrice. Now, all right, Jasmine. So now we're gonna get to the relationship questions. Okay.
Okay.
Now let me go ahead. I'm gonna cue this music off real quickly, okay? Because I don't know how this is gonna turn out when I ask this question, and usually a simple question usually gets people triggered. So hopefully I still see the smiling faces, right? But anyways, so for the number 5 question, okay? Number 5 is go pull up. Should okay
Should
women, all
women.
right, be submissive? Okay, just let that marinate. Don't attack me. Don't try to pull up my address or whatever. Don't delete the messenger. Okay, I'm just asking a question, for all the men out there, and that's pretty much it.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, I think if you're happy and everything, and if somebody provides you a space to be happy, and to feel secure in everything, you're gonna be submissive. I feel like if as a man, like, you know, you're doing everything on your end and somebody is, I guess, being difficult, then you should find somebody that, you know, because I feel like men and women submit to each other in different ways, you know? So I don't see any issue with that. I think you should. I think a nice, healthy, loving relationship, both partners are going to do that.
Okay. If you could put like, okay, submission into one simple term, what would you call it?
I don't know. It's too hard to do so. I just think, you know, I think it's a part of love, really.
Okay. You think submission is a part of love?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take that for a little bit and marinate that. To me, I look at submission as cooperation.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's certain duties, there's certain roles, however, that, you know, men have to do, and there's certain roles that women have to do. And I know, like, we always hear about, like, I was like in, you know, shout out to Hank, I was in his panel, I know we was talking about like leaders. But one of the things that I also kind of left off at the end before I had to leave was that we talk about leaders, but, you know, how often do we talk about learning how to be followers? We have to learn somewhere in order for us to get to the role where we have the comfortability and the knowledge to help lead and guide, you know? Mm-hmm. But a lot of times, you know, whenever I use the word submission, you know, usually like women, like, you know, they take off the wigs and, you know, toss it in the back of the chair.
I feel like it's become more than what it really is. I feel like, you know, when you first meet a guy and he's like, you know, are you submissive or whatever? It's like you haven't, like, you don't even know I'm doing. Like that's a weird question. But if, you know, you haven't provided a space, then what am I submitting to? And like I feel like it's got kind of like muddled with a whole bunch of different other things for people, but I think that's what makes it difficult to kind of discern, like, okay, what do you really mean by that? What do I mean by that? And this really isn't that. And you gotta give to get to me. So
okay,
I don't think there's an issue with it. I just think, you know, you have to provide that safe space for somebody to want to do that for you.
That's definitely fair enough. And shout outs to our brother Daryl Long. So salutes to my brother. Thank you for tuning in. You know what? Okay, I'm glad this is becoming like a pleasant conversation about this, Jasmine. Because here's the thing. A lot of this is where things kind of go sour at, because you have men, especially like men like on YouTube, and they preach heavily so much about women need to be submissive, women need to be traditional. But however, and have you ever, as a man, what have you done as a man to pretty much earn that respect? I mean, that worthyship, worthy enough. A lot of times, you know, people in this space talks about, I'm sorry, hold on for a second. I think I'm going in and out. Can you hear me well, Jasmine?
Yeah, it's good now.
Okay. Look like YouTube's trying to take me back into the Matrix or so. But anyways, the case in point is that in order for you to be that type of dude, one, you don't even have to operate in a way where you even have to tell people or tell a woman how to be submissive. Right. I feel like it should naturally be set in stone, because you're offering an experience for a woman. You're offering certain things that is meeting their requirements, like protection, you know, the care, the love, or whatever. You're providing. And what a woman should do to represent that man is making sure that she's holding him down as well too. You know, making sure. I mean, yeah, you can say cook, clean, or invest, but more so just invest into the man, making sure that you are protecting his reputation. You are being the help me. You know what I mean? And you know, just being a good follower. Because being a good follower just means that you're beneath him. It's just that you're here to assist him when it's needed.
Yeah, and I think that because like submission has become like such a talking point, people expect it out the gate, and it's like, you know, you're not even my boyfriend. You're not even like it's weird. Like you'll just meet people and they'll be like, so are you submissive? Or it's like, you know, like I'm not like rude like when I turn people down, so I might not like directly like say like, oh no, I don't want to go on a date. I might just say I'm busy or whatever. And then it'll be like, well, you're not submissive, and you know, good for me that you said no because you're not submissive, because a real submissive woman would have made a time for a real king. It's like, one, I don't even, you know, like you, and it's like, two, you're not my man. Like that's weird. Like there's a thing like being agreeable for sure, but it's like I don't even know you, so we can't even. You feel me? Like that shouldn't be just like I don't know, but I don't know. I think it's just become like an obsession for like some people, and it's like they don't understand you gotta give to get.
Absolutely. Salutes to Quantum Love. Thank you for tuning in. You know, sometimes like, you know, I gotta help like Quantum Love to learn how to be a submissive woman, even though she's not my wife. But you know, I gotta be like the, you know, follow the trend of all the YouTubers. Hey, Quantum, since you're here, hey, you gotta be submissive. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know, you are definitely right about that. People do fail to realize that, you know, you don't belong to them. But it's funny that they expect you for you to have a submissive attitude. Or if you say, hey, I'll be submissive to the right man, then it's like, oh, now you hurt, now you throwing the punching bag on. Because they're like, oh, how dare you? You know, you need to be submissive to all men. You know
and then where's that gonna lead you? You do that, you ain't even trying to vet or anything. You gonna be up the river, down a creek, whichever one, you ain't gonna have a paddle. So, you know.
Yeah. Shout outs to the notorious Ruthless Media. Thank you for tuning in. Salutes to you, man. And there, Truth says, "Oh, Quantum is in trouble." Nah, Quantum, like, you know, that's the homie right there. She ain't never in trouble. Quantum can never do no wrong, you know, when she's in here. But yeah, okay. So then, my other question is that, and this is kind of basic. What is the one or several things you would like to know about women? Oops, I'm sorry. That's a wild question. That's a question for the men, right? I mean, what's the one or several things you would like to know about men as a woman?
I don't know, because I feel like, you know, it varies from guy to guy. And I feel like, you know, you ain't gonna get a straight answer with everything because it just depends on the person. I guess just like mental health stuff, like, and I mean, again, that's gonna change from person to person, but like how to, like, when they're going through something that's, you know, more emotional, like how to be a safe space for them. Like, to me, I feel like I kind of know how to do that, but I just guess something like that. I feel like I know, but, you know, I don't know for sure, so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think mental health for men should definitely be more vocal. Well, let me ask you this, like, and you could be honest too. Do you feel like in America, do you feel like women's mental health has a bigger, larger support system than men?
Yeah, because men, you know, they're not supposed to talk about their feelings and they're not supposed to cry and everything. So yeah. I feel like men do like face additional hurdles when it comes to talking about it.
Okay. If I'll put it like this, if I could think of one solution, or maybe one thing that could probably help men to be more open or to get involved with mental health programs, it starts off with us wanting and building brotherhood. I think building brotherhood and building on unity with men to help empower each other to be strong, instead of form up a group where we're just lashing out and complaining about women, then I think we could get some progress going on.
Okay.
And then 7 is like kind of vice versa, but it's like, what is some advice that you would give to men so they could learn and understand about women?
I think that because of like the internet and everything, some men like think like an alpha male, or a way to get submission is to be like the loudest, like most boisterous person. And it's like sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's just being yourself. Sometimes it's knowing how to talk to women and like being kind and gentle and everything. I think again, like social media has just like put this image of like you just gotta be like kind of a jerk to get like women, and that's not really how it works. And if that's what it takes to get certain women, that's probably not the women that you should want, So I guess just letting men know like you can be comfortable in who you are, you can be the quiet guy, you can be like all these things, and there'll still be plenty of women that will love and want you and respect you and be submissive to you. So I guess just that.
All right, that's what's up. Welcome back, Mr. Best in the World.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My bad.
No, you good though. I was thinking that you froze, but I didn't want to drop you in the backstage earlier though. So
it's all good.
If not, yeah. Mr. Best, like you have like any questions that you have like for Jasmine? I mean, I pretty much kind of like narrowed down through the list, like as far as like the submission or whatever. She believes that women should be submissive, which is good. So no one's necks was chopped off. But yeah, if you have any questions, like for her, go ahead and rock out, my brother.
What inspires you to continue to push through your journey? What is your main inspiration?
It's this thing that my mom always says, and I know like she's got it from somewhere, but wanting to leave the world a better place than you found it. So that's what kind of motivates me. Like, I've said like, I want kids to know like they can, follow their passion, whether it's sports or something else, and they don't have to allow themselves to be the punchline of jokes or like take harassment or do things they don't want to do, if that is like drinking or whatever. But just leaving the world a better place and inspiring people along the way so that they can make change and keep it going. So that's what inspires me.
Okay. All right. If people start to look at you as like an activist or somebody who's like a socialite, would you be accepting of that? Or do you just kind of want to be like, no, I just want to tell my story and that's it?
Well, like in my wildest dreams, I did do acting, and I did talk to a production company years ago, and it didn't work out, about like making it a movie. So in my like dream world, I could play myself, and I have like a bunch of like other fiction ideas I want to do, and I want to like make those books to movies too. I want to be Issa Rae, so I would be okay with being a socialite, because I feel like with that, you're making the content and then you being able to act in it, and you're benefiting off of the same thing over and over. So yeah, I'd be cool with it, because that's ultimately, I want to be like Issa Rae. So yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Because a lot of our people, they, sometimes they just want to tell their story, and they don't want the responsibility or accountability of people looking at them in a certain light. Because when you step into that socialite light, or that being a black leader type of light, it comes with a lot of expectations, and
Right.
sometimes I think some of them expectations that people have are not even logical. They're illogical. So yeah.
Real quick, are you open to for us to like open a chat for other people that might want to like join in to like ask any questions?
Sure.
Okay, cool. All right, folks, right? I'm gonna post a link to the public. Feel free to like come through. Keep in mind too, before you guys come through, I will need a voice verification because we do have shows or whatever. So we gotta make sure we protect ourselves. So let me go ahead. I'm gonna post a link. So feel free to join in. I'm gonna make sure.
Oh, I got two more questions. So who are your favorite authors, of literature? And also, who are your favorite people that are, socialites as well?
So for authors, one would be J.K. Rowling. Just because the Harry Potter books, like, she had to like really work for those, and people wasn't believing in her, and then the whole world had to believe. But it's also because she is the first billionaire to lose her billionaire status because she gave money away. And I feel like in all the years of the world, like, that's the first person in 2000 and whatever that's like, what, $1 billion is a lot of money. I'm gonna be fine, my kids are gonna be fine, so let me go on, and give it away to like whatever generous charities, whatever. So definitely her. And then I would say Harper Glenn. And I say that because that is one of my friends who recently just had their first debut novel. And Harper was very kind to me and like gave me advice and everything. So that's somebody else. That's an author that I look up to. And what was the second question?
Oh, I was saying, what socialites do you kind of look up to? Whether it's like a Mary McLeod Bethune, Barbara Jordan, Marcus Garvey, or somebody like that of that nature.
So can I say Issa Rae again? Does she count?
Okay.
But yeah, Issa Rae, just because, like I said, like she creates her content and then she gets to act in it. And she's like in control of it. And, just what she went from having a series on YouTube to then going and having The Insecure and then being in movies. And now she has like I'm probably getting some number wrong, but it's like she has like a $40 million deal with Warner Bros. Or one of the streaming services to like make their own content. And then again, like she can act in it if she wants to. So somebody like that is like, you see this lane of like, okay, I'm going to produce this content and I can get to like 3 checks off of the same thing. Like, I think that's like a real, businesswoman. So her, and then I would say another person, I'll say 2 people, would be LeBron and Curry, just because like, yeah, like they're amazing basketball players, but they're good people and they do good things, with their money. Like, obviously LeBron has that school and multiple other things, but he's also like a good man to look up to, of like a good father figure, a good husband, just like a good person all around. And the same with Curry, like him and his wife do a lot of like charities, giving back when they don't have to. And also him, like, he's a good person to look up to, father figure, husband, all those things. So I feel like, it's anything to have money and whatever, but to have like character and everything behind it, like, I really like them.
Yeah, especially like men of their status and financial caliber, like it takes a lot of character to say, yeah.
Mhm.
People, and they care, like they give back, and it's like that does nothing for them, but they're just kind people. So yeah, those are I just gave you 3, but those are my people.
Okay. As you was going through, as you was going through everything she was going through, as far as your whole experience with trying out for the team and everything that she was going through. Were you initially shocked at everything that was going down, or what was your demeanor about everything?
So initially, like the first conversation on the first day of preseason, we were stretching, and 2 of the white girls came in, and one of the white girls said, why do black people name their kids the way they do? They're setting them up for failure. And another white girl was like, well, I don't know, but my high school wasn't in the ghetto, so we only ever had 2 black girls on the team, and that's the way I like it. So that was day 1, right? I was like, this isn't like happening. This isn't, whatever. But then, like I said, it progressed. And initially, I thought, if I'm so kind to you, it'll change you. My mom is like, Jazz, if these people have been raised like this for 20, 22 years of life, you being kind ain't going to change it. And then I realized it wasn't going to. But, I would say surprised, just for the fact that it's like, I've been in Tennessee. Like, I know people are racist. I know racism exists, very much so. But I think I just thought, because the DMV is what it is, it's a mixing pot, that kind of thing. But also people my age, it was surprising to me, because I'm like, this is for old people. This is for like the people in the South, but not, where it is a mixing pot, not where basketball to me has always been the thing that's brought people together, because we all have the love for the sport, and now it's became something ugly and divisive. So yeah, man, I'd just say like surprised, anger, sad, a lot of things.
But now I got to add to this part, right? Bess, I'm glad that you asked this question, because I forgot to ask this. But now with racism, we're going to touch a little bit into this. With racism, now there's been like other like well-known people, I guess, content creators or celebrities or whatever, people like who are rich, basically. And what I heard, shout out to Marion from Fresh and Fit, mostly, him and some of his rich buddies will say racism does not really exist. Or, well, I want to misquote him, because he does acknowledge like, racism do exist, but when it comes to rich people, what he's saying that rich people don't see racism. They don't see no other color but the color green. Basically, it's insinuating that usually poor people focus more on racism, or working class people focus on racism. What do you think about people like that?
I think that if you can live in that reality, then that is amazing for you, and I love that for you. But I think at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of wake-up calls. Also, Mr. Truth and Propose, you can get your ankles broke. I'm in Woodbridge. No, but I mean, even like
come up and get your ankles loose.
On a small scale, right? When Oprah was in whatever fancy Gucci, I don't remember what store it is, some store I can't pronounce. She had people following her around because they thought, she was going to steal. And that's something we can say is small. We can like say it's a microaggression. But on a large scale, Tyler Perry has like the biggest studio in Georgia, right? And, he's been producing a lot of content on his studio, right? Like, you remember that? Like, it was like this big, huge thing.
Yeah, because he used the slave plantation area to reconstruct and turn into a studio.
Right. So now they are trying to put a dumping site, like where they'll put like chemicals and stuff next to his studio. And so it's like Tyler Perry's a very wealthy man, but the environmental racism things, and he's trying to fight it. He's actually trying to buy the land that's going to be next door to him so it can be his land. But the federal is going to own it. So they're like, taking away his right to buy it. So even though this man is very wealthy, he's still dealing with the fact, because I do not believe if this was who's somebody else that's a white counterpart, whatever, would be having to face this. I feel like this is kind of, you know, his punishment for being a wealthy black man. Like, okay, well, you thought you was gonna have all this power, but we're gonna put this dump next to it, and one, it's gonna drive the value of the land down, but two, your the health is gonna be put at risk for whoever is over there. And like, I know that because my family in Tennessee had an environmental case, and they put a toxic dump in the black community, and they didn't put a filter on it, and everybody's got cancer. And like, that's why I said my mom has had cancer twice, and my grandfather had prostate cancer that turned into bone cancer. So it's like, you know, I think racism that you face once you get richer might look different. And it, for some, you know, maybe you'll never be affected by it again, but I don't feel like that's a blanket statement. And even if we do say, well, that's only a poor problem, that's still a problem, and that's still something that needs to be addressed, because not everybody's going to turn out and be rich, you know? So, but I mean, if homie looks like that, you know, good for him. Love that. But that's not everybody's reality.
Damn, and I didn't even know that was going on, that they're playing a place like a dump to try to ruin his value, which normally, I'm like, come on, like, why put it near?
He probably was never going to sell it, right? But it's that if you're putting chemicals and stuff, chemicals get in the water, underground aquifer, they get in the air. And so now, you know, I have no idea which chemicals specifically, but if it's cancer-causing chemicals, what is he going to do? Is he, you know, it just puts a very hard situation for him after he's done spent all these millions for it. So, you know, it's still an issue for people, but, you know, again, good for him if he's not dealing with it. So,
yeah. Oh, definitely sending positive vibes, man, over time. Apparently, hopefully something happens where maybe it could get canceled or something, or who knows.
I mean, if it, you know, hopefully, because I think him doing what he did with that was amazing, and that's inspiring to people. So, you know, fingers crossed for him, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go ahead and rewind a little bit about basketball a little bit, okay? Now, all right. Now, since we got mostly, like, you know, these fun questions out the way. Well, one, okay, hold on. Actually, one, do you have any questions that you want to ask, like, you know, with us? You know, just know, you know, it's not one-sided. So if you have anything that you'd like to ask, feel free to.
Well, did y'all ever have, like, a situation similar to mine where, you know, you were kind of pushed into this box to, like, you know, be okay, either with, you know, being okay with black jokes being made, or, you know, just something to something derogatory to your nature, to where you felt like, okay, you really can't respond the way that you want to, because, you know, part of my thing was, you know, if I do anything, I'm going to be the angry black woman. And so that's what I thought, like, if I keep being nice to you, that I know, like, for men too, that can be hard. So yeah, like, have y'all ever had a situation like that?
I'm for sure. Well, you know what? I want to tell you a story.
Okay.
And here's the thing. For me, luckily for me, I don't give a shit what I say, right?
Right.
To a certain extent, you know? I mean, I haven't really, like, faced, like, a lot of, like, harsh racism where, you know, like, white folks or other nationalities, like, kind of, like, had the balls to really, like, say any direct racist, you know, shit to me.
Right.
But I will say this, like, you know, most people are a little bit passive. Now, one time, I'll just say, like, I'm not going to disclose, like, you know, jobs or whatever. Let's just say a space of duty, right? In my space of duty, there was a Latina person, okay? And at the time, we was doing a lot of yard work for the company. Now, you know, the person probably didn't mean no harm or whatever. They use it as a compliment, but they'll say, "Wow, like man, MT, you're working hard like a Mexican. Now you're an honorary Mexican if you're working hard." Okay. Now, like I said, usually it's like a lighthearted joke where it's like, all right, well, yeah, we're working hard like Mexicans or whatever, right? But I kind of thought about it's like, why have to be associated with race based on my work ethic? You don't even have to say I'm the hardest working black person. Just say I'm the hardest working person, you know?
Right.
And you know, that's why I told her, I was like, look, man, don't associate with me with your people because I'm not your people. Okay?
Right.
Like work ethic does not tie into race.
Right.
And she was like, but you know, like somewhere down the line, she was like, but you people, right? You guys, you know, are like the laziest people in the group. And I was like, what?
I just think it's funny that after Black people stopped working for free, now we're lazy. But okay.
Exactly. I was like, so when she said that, and she was like, but it's true, like what, you know, that's what my friends told me. She told me like, you guys are very lazy. So I was like, all right. Unfortunately, now I gotta sound racist and I gotta roast your whole entire ethnic group, right? And this is what I said, and I don't care, all right? I told her that, you know, for years, of course, you know, people will stigmatize that Black people are lazy because we don't operate in a certain type of way. We don't work for cheap labor, which is more than right, which is really not even Black folks, it's just American folks. Right. But you feel you don't know the history of Black folks because Black folks invented the stop signs. They invented, you know, peanut butter, for goddamn sakes. They invented the light. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Jack Daniels too. That recipe came from a Black guy, and like, I don't know, like his family gets like, you know, I'm not even gonna try on the numbers, but let's say 5% of it annually. And it's just like, just think about if Black people got for their ideas, like you said, the stoplight, stop sign. So okay,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What, and peanut butter and like all these things. Imagine how many Black billionaires we would have, but we didn't. Why? Because their ideas got taken or their land got taken. And even like, so just stuff with that, it's amazing, you know, to me that we can even have these kinds of thoughts going around.
Exactly. And look, Black folks invented hundreds of inventions. Okay.
Exactly. So just imagine what the world would look like. Imagine all the money, like all that generational wealth that would have been kept in if Black people actually got their due. Like I said, like I think it's Jack Daniels. Their family only gets like 5-10%. And what is that when it should have been 100%? Like their whole course of their family would have looked completely different, but generationally. But you know,
and that's the problem, right? What makes other naive, you know, people who are not Black look at us like or maybe some ignorant Black folks will actually think that we're lazy. But look, I'll come up with, look, here's my list. Yeah, like I said, George Washington Carver, okay, who invented peanuts, sweet potatoes. You know, well, invented stuff using the mixture of peanut butter, sweet potatoes, soybeans. Okay, Lewis like Latimer, invention, and Jasmine, who made improvements to the light bulb, which I talked about, air conditioning systems, the telephone. Okay, Benjamin Banneker. If I'm butchering the names wrong, like, you know, please forgive me for that one, but you know, the astronomer, mathematician. Okay, there was someone, let me see. Oh, Frederick McKinley. Okay, McKinley Jones, an inventor and engineer who also developed and built refrigerators. Okay.
See, you named people I didn't even know.
You know, I try to pull out my research quick. I mean, look. I'm not a history type of guy, but if I had to pull up some receipts, God damn it, I will have to pull up some receipts. But
But I
overall,
mean,
Mhm.
what are you saying?
no, no, go ahead. I'll let you speak, and then I'll finish.
Well,
My
I
story.
was even going to say, like, even when it comes to like professions, like, again, like I know a lot about like the environmental racism stuff aside, just because of like what my family went through. But you know, like black farmers having like either their land, you know, taken by the government because of what is that rule? You know, I can't think of it. Like where the government can take your land because of it's
I
something.
don't.
I don't think of it. It's gonna come
Yeah.
to me in like 2 hours.
No, no problem.
Is it soup or something? I'm not gonna remember it. Whatever. But like that happens to them, and also like the same kind of thing that's happening to Tyler Perry. Like they'll put like dumps, making their farmland useless. You know, and just different things like that. So it's like even if you have this family that has been setting this up to be a generational source of wealth, now it's just completely gone. And even like when their land is taken, like that beach in California where the family just got it back recently and then they like sold it, but it was where black people could go to the beach back in whatever days, and it was like a hotel too, and they just took it from their family. And it's like, again, like imagine how their family would have looked different if they would have been having this beachfront hotel property for however many years available for them, you know, to make money off of. So it's just different stuff like that is like, and that's just the stuff that we know, right? On what was that? And Black Wall Street, like, you know, there's just so many things that it's like when black people do start attaining certain things, we know what can come from it. So how we ever got to black people being lazy is like beyond me, but you know.
Yeah, it is the word that you're looking for. Is it called eminent domain?
Yes. Like they'll have that happen, and so now it's like I've been making money off of this, and now the government just seizes it. Or I think that's what's happening with Tyler Perry too. Like they're doing the eminent domain to be able to say, look, oh, we do have to have a dump here, and that's why he can't just buy it if it was somebody else selling the land. So yeah.
Gotcha. Because from what I researched, it's like this eminent domain is like the power that's granted to the government by the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution, which states that the private property shall not be taken for public use without just compensation. This is a controversial issue, however, because it allows the government to take private property for public use, such as building roads, schools, or other public infrastructure, even if the owner does not want to sell the land. The government still has the power to take.
So who do you think is going to be affected by that the most?
It's going to be the ones who own that type of land. It's like a small business. Let's say like you're a small grocery owner. Now Walmart has took over. Okay, and Walmart is now, you know, pretty much building infrastructures right next to your small business and your land and all that. And all it needs is like pretty much the government to back itself up. Hopefully that wasn't a terrible analogy, but you get the case in point. What's going to affect it? Who's going to get affected by it? It's going to be the small business owners, because you know why? Everybody, the mom and dad's going to go shop at Walmart before they shop at your, you know, not so well-known grocery store or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
But my last part of the story, what I was gonna say was like, this is where I kind of got this person. I just told her, right, that look, yeah, you may think that we're lazy, but you know, we're like the smartest workers. Black folks have been working so hard, we just learned how to work smart. People on the other side, unfortunately, you guys are hard workers, but you work stupid. And that's why I blatantly told them. And that's just not you. That's your children, your family members, and everyone that works around the facility. Even if your supervisor is your nationality, he's part of that category as well too. You see how things is going on, you know, in this company. So once I said that, then it was like, oh, be nice and put the white flag up there. It's like, that's what I thought. You wasn't expecting for me to say that.
Nah, people don't like when you challenge them, and it's just crazy because you started it. So
Right. But as a black man, if I were to clap back, then I would be. They won't look at me as a racist, but they'll be like, "Oh, that's sexist, and you're picking on this poor woman, and and blah blah blah." But
right.
always that double standard. But yeah, I feel like, well, no, not I feel, but I think that if we wasn't in a situation where the things that we built didn't benefit towards other nationalities, man, we would have been like the richest force right now.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
So people who were born like in generational wealth, like I feel like that's the part that we're still lacking, because we was always taught to work as hard as we can, but we was never taught about economics. Like most of us are now learning how to get into the stock and real estate market. Mm-hmm. Whereas white folks and other people, they've been doing that for years, centuries.
Right.
Well, we're just now learning about that as people of color. And I think that we should definitely try to do a better job into educating our people to be more of entrepreneurs as opposed to just being like standard employees.
Yeah.
So that's all I gotta say about that.
Okay. What about Mr. Best?
Mr. Best, Mr. Best, you here? Hopefully his internet didn't go out again.
My bad. I'm sorry, y'all. My fault.
You good?
So I have I guess a relationship question, right? The man woman thing. Now, okay, so you said women should be, submissive to men ideally. So for you, in your view of dating or just your preferences and choices, what things are you wanting to be submissive to, and what things are you like, I'm not being submissive to at all?
I think it depends. Like, what do you mean?
Because being submissive to someone, you ideally are putting your life in their hand, right? In a lot of ways. So, in what ways are you not willing to be submissive? Like, I'm not willing to move, or I'm not willing to maybe change my career, different things. Because some men will say, "Hey, I want you to be at home. I don't want you to do nothing else but be at home and raise kids," right? Some men may be like, "Hey, I just want you to cook and clean and do this, that, and the third, and do different duties." So what things are you wanting to submit to, and what things are you like, nah, we're going to have to talk about that?
So certain things like you just mentioned, I wouldn't be possible for me to be submissive in that way, because I'm not living with nobody until I got a ring. But I mean, as far as like moving from my husband, like, yeah. Like I said, like I have like aspirations, like I want to act and stuff too, but it's like, I feel like if I got married and everything before that, like I would have like, it would be a conversation, and if it was just like, hardcore, then it's my husband. The cook and clean stuff, I mean, again, like if it's my husband, it's my husband, but also I feel like we would have conversations to where like he wouldn't, dismiss what I want once I get put the ring on, you feel me? Like we would have conversations about like, oh, these are my dreams, and he would respect that too. So I feel like a lot of ways I wouldn't be able to until I'm a wife, because you feel me? Like I wouldn't be in that position too. I'm not living with no man for I get that ring. So, or giving babies, because men will ask you that too. Like, oh, we need to have a baby before I know you the one, shorty, and we ain't doing that over here. So I'm not doing that.
Okay. And I know you had mentioned about that before, like, like you gotta put that ring on it first,
Yes.
which I respect that. I probably didn't ask that as a private question, but in a little bit relation to that, right? Okay, have you are you currently, as far as like status, saying you don't have to like disclose it. You could say, hey, whatever. But are you currently in a relationship?
Mm-mm. No, I'm not
Okay,
dating
okay.
right now.
Okay. Is it more because like you're just trying to focus like on your life, like your book right now, or you're just not really like just some surprise just haven't came your way yet?
I'm just like not open to it right now. It's a combination of things, but the last guy I dated, things didn't work out, and I had an ex pass around the time that things didn't work out with him, and so
Sorry to hear
it was
that.
really hard. Huh?
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, thank you. And it's just like the anniversary of it just passed. It was January 9th. And so like it was hard because I picked the other guy because I thought, he's the nicer guy. He is, he's the better option because I thought he was the nice guy. And now I'm like, man, I wish I could have had the years with my ex because I'm like, he's gone and he didn't have kids or anything. He's only 32, and so like I'm really sad about that. Like I'm sad about the breakup from the other guy too because I really cared about him. But I feel like I just gotta focus on me for now because I'm still sad, and I don't feel like anybody should have to deal with that until I like deal with it myself.
Yeah, grief is definitely a process. Like take your time with that.
I'm crazy.
Yeah, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. When you lose people that you really care about, it takes your time, and there's no timeline for that. So people need to be mindful of that. My last question is so what about like if the person has different like religious views or maybe even different social views or maybe even political views than you, and what ways are you willing to be? In what ways are you kind of like, I'm cool with that, or there's some ways where it's like, nah, I'm not. Like we got to have this. Our beliefs or our core values got to align in certain ways.
Wait, Mr. Best. Before you continue, right? You mind if I chime in about the grief part?
Go ahead.
All right, my bad, brother. I will definitely say this though. Man, like grief is definitely like a hard thing. Like I had to literally take grief recovery because I went through like so many like different losses. Some which I will not say at the moment, but I will definitely say this, like for our recent loss, and no matter what, I will never forget about QueBee. May she continue to rest in power, but. Man, there's some moments like, I'd be like, damn, man, I don't even feel like streaming, and then there's some moments where I'm like, man, I want to continue on streaming just for her sake, but I would have never really thought that meeting someone, from this YouTube space will be more painful, like to really lose as a person, and so. I'm still dealing with that personally for myself. I'll let Mr. Best speak for himself as well too. But it has taken a toll, a hit, within our platform. But the only thing we could do is like continue to like move strong and never forget our purpose.
Right.
I mean, yeah, okay. I wasn't even thinking about that, man. You mentioned that, man.
No, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It's cool. It's something that like, it's one of those things where it sticks with you, and some days you are like good, and you're having your good moments, and it's times you just think, and it's like, dang, like it hit you like a ton of bricks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was definitely moments, within this month where I really did think about just not streaming anymore. Period. Just kind of shutting down, just everything, taking a break, doing different things. But I will always hear her be like, "No, Mr. Best, you got stuff to do."
Yeah.
Like, we ain't doing that. Come on, like, nah, that's not how we do. So that's what's been pushing me. And then, I know that, her aura, her legacy, everything that she's always about, making people be better, and I can't make people be better by sitting on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I don't have my emotions, because I do. But, I know that overall, her vision was for me to just continue to keep going, to be intentional, as you always say. But yeah. Also, Don, I see you in the comments, bro. Salute to you. I don't want to forget to shout him out. But yeah, so that's a heavy thing. I do remember my question. So what? Like, I was asking, like, what about like religious views, or even like political or social views? Like, what if that comes into play, and what things are you kind of like, like, hey, we can work that out, and with certain things you're like, nah, I ain't working that out. Like, there's a brother like, man, we ain't eating no chicken on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, what are you willing to bend on? What are you like, nah, like I like my pork. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm eating pork, and he's like, hey, we ain't eating no pork up in here. You tripping? You know what I mean? So what things are you kind of willing to bend on, or what things you kind of not willing to bend on? I just gave some random examples, but yeah.
I guess like for me, like religion, I couldn't, but it also like has like a scale on it, because my mom is Baptist and my dad is Catholic, so I would have no issue. I'm Baptist. If somebody was Catholic, or even depending like Muslim, it would kind of just have to align in certain ways for me to be like, oh, okay, cool. Or not. I feel like politically, depending, I just guess on, certain things, like there's like so many things to where it's like hardcore, like, yeah, nah. Poly, absolutely not. We ain't budging on that. But there's stuff like that. It just depends.
Okay.
Are you saying absolutely not because?
Absolutely. Oh, okay. I'm sorry that you're asking me.
No. You good. You good. Mm-hmm. Because that's an interesting thing. Salute to Miss Polly. A lot of okay. So, and this is just a philosophy that some women have. Some women feel, and I guess some men adopt this too. Some men feel this way too, that because there's a scarcity of men, right, and women do outnumber men, right, in our society, right, that maybe that should be an option. You know what I mean? But also, I think because we've never adopted the philosophy of poly within our country on a grand scale, we don't really know what we're doing. But I kind of feel like we know what we're doing in monogamy either. But that's a whole other topic. Well, not really. So in both monogamy and poly, monogamy or poly, do you really feel like people know what they're doing, or do you feel like we all kind of shooting in the dark in a sense?
I feel like currently poly is being like glamorized and everything, and so that's why it is a lot of people's like go-to. I think because they think it'll be easier. They think that it takes some, I don't know, away, which I think it would be harder in a sense. Well, I don't know. But I think with being monogamous, like you kind of know what you're going into. Or or you know the expectations, you just might not want to do it, or you think you can change somebody. But no, I mean, on either side, no, but I just think it's more so no on the poly side, because people are just looking at it like it's the answer to everybody's solutions, because that's kind of how it's being pushed.
Okay.
But also, they say it's the divorce rate being high and things of that nature too. I think that's another reason why people are kind of leaning towards that.
Yeah, I can see that. I just feel like that isn't going to necessarily take away any other issues you might find, or that's not going to solve just different things to me. But I think, I don't know. I just think, like, you know, if somebody wasn't going to stay either way, but I feel like when you get married and it's like one person, like, you know, you're more so invested. But if you have more people, and the only way, like, I can understand it if like both people are allowed to, but you know, a lot of people aren't with that, so then it's kind of like, you know, one-sided.
Okay, one of these days.
Okay.
We gotta I gotta invite you to like one of, like, you know, the shows like where Miss Polly will host, because this would be like an interesting. Don't stretch your eyes. This would be like an interesting topic, right? Because, like, I'm not saying like kind of create like a debate, but I like to see like hear like different sides of different opinions. You know what I mean? And just kind of observe like how it would go. Because, you know, you believe in one way and the other person believes in something else. So that would be interesting. One of these days I gotta bring you back up here, Jasmine. You know what I mean?
Hey.
I'll be all nervous now. Now, let me go ahead and I want to bring in Queen Forever 2K. All right. Salutes, Queen.
What's up, people? How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Salute, Queen.
Don't let him bait you in no discussion, no back and forth with poly lifestyle. Don't let him bait you in that, Jasmine.
You saw my face, because you
just tell, stick and move, girl. Dribble that ball between your legs, give him the okie doke roundabout, and lay up to the dome piece at the rim. Don't. Anyway, so I just want to say, I was listening here and there. You know, I commend you for not giving in and persevering and sticking true to who you are and not allowing people to hush you. You know, for all those people who say racism ain't real, you're stupid and you're dumb and you're blinded. You know, prime example. I mean, you know, and it's really sad the tactics that people go about hushing people up. You know, because it's not only messes with you mentally and emotionally, it can really end your life. You know, like people sometimes can't handle the pressure, and when you are under attack with subtleties and everyone else is blinded, it's almost like you feel like you're going crazy, like you're the only person who sees it. And it's so true. Bullying, you know, scare tactics is true. It's so real. And yeah. And I just want to say, I'm sorry you had to go through that, but I know going through that probably made you a stronger person. So I commend you for sticking your ground, putting your heels in the sand and saying, hell no, I ain't going nowhere. I ain't moving, and you ain't going to shut me up. Now give me my money and pay attention. But I wouldn't want, you know, like after all that, I wouldn't want to be part of that. You know what I mean? But I understand the purpose of that.
Yeah, like, so after everything happened there, then I went to the HBCU, and then the lawsuit happened, and when it got to settlement, initially they wanted to give me $200,000, and I said, don't give me anything. Let me come back and play, because if you let me come back and play, I'm gonna break every record, and it's gonna be a black girl that did it, and you can't take that away. And they said no.
Of course not. You ain't holding no records at that school. Please, they ain't giving you no titles.
The middle ground was like they had to recruit more black girls. I just couldn't go, back, and they had to do like more sensitivity training, and they had to change like the tryout policy to always let somebody try out if they go through preseason. But yeah, like I wanted that because I felt like, if my name is here and there, and like other black girls can come here and see like, okay, she did this and this and that. But I'm so happy that even though there's been a change, they've had more since everything. But
that sensitivity training and all that's all bullshit. You know why? Because it's like you trying to make a shit cake into lemon squares. It's still shit. The majority of the ingredients is shit. There's only but so much you can change shit into lemon squares. It's not going to work. You can hide it. You can do whatever you can. But if the majority of the ingredients is shit at the end of the day. So that's the problem with that whole, instead of just dealing with it. It's almost like we're not budging. We want you to know your place and that you're not welcome here. And they're going to stick to that. And I think so many times we're the ones who have to be plausible, like bend and move, because you don't belong here. You are here according to how I want to use you, right. And that's the unfortunate thing. So yeah, it's just, it's crazy, but yeah.
Okay, so
I always think about the help, and when the lady said she made that cake, and she said, "This is good." She said, "Yeah, that shit tastes real good." Something she said, but she pretty much made her shit cake.
Right.
Okay, so this may all right.
God.
So I'm going to say this right, and this may not be popular belief, but
if you got to premise it like that, it's usually not.
Right. So at least we could acknowledge that for once. All right. So, Marion. All right, so Myron from Fresh and Fit, right? I'm gonna just put it out there. He started this. So his argument is that bullying is best for people. He's saying that more people need to get bullied, like in the 90s now these days. Okay, and he said because bullying helps build character. Now, before everybody get triggered, all right, I want to just put 5 reasons why maybe bullying could be beneficial, okay? And then, whatever you guys disagree on, feel free to go at it. But this is like 5 reasons. It says that it teaches you how to stand up for yourself and not be a victim of peer pressure. He said that for number 1. Number 2, it helps you to develop empathy and understanding for people who are different from you. Okay. Number 3, it says it teaches you how to recognize and protect yourself from mistreatment and manipulation. Number 4, it builds resilience and strength of character by learning how to deal with difficult situations. And then number 5, it says it encourages you to be more independent and take more personal responsibility for your own actions.
Yeah, it sounds confusing, just like you look reading it. Exactly. You're not and you're reading it.
You know what? I want to digress for a little bit. I want Jasmine to kind of say something about that.
I feel like people don't include the nuance of today's bullying. Kids are ruthless. It wasn't back in the day like you get a swirly and you go home and you ain't got to deal with it. No. Now people get beat up It ends up on the internet, and now you are forever a meme, and it is relentless. It is like people make Facebook or Instagram profiles degrading you, and it just won't, end. So I think that's coming from definitely like a place of privilege. I think it's not fair to assume that everybody has the same kind of mental fortitude to deal with certain things, because you don't know what people deal with at home. Like, I was blessed that my parents, cared about everything, and they provided like a space for me to be able to go to another school. But some people have horrible home lives, and they have things that they're dealing with. And so being what breaks the camel's back, that's not fair for somebody to say, oh, well, they just need to they just need to get stronger mentally, whatever. Also, I don't think that growth, whether that is, making you more resilient or empathetic of others, has to come from a place of trauma. And that comes from a place of trauma when somebody is dealing with all of that. I think all of it sounded pretty stupid, to be honest. I feel like homie either got bullied and now he internalized it and he feels like whatever, or he was the bully and he feels justified. But either way, it sounds pretty stupid, and I don't even use that word like that. That was stupid.
Pea-brainish.
Very.
Listen to what you're saying. Bullying builds character. That's like saying watching someone get lynched builds character. Come on. You sound like an idiot. I would just say it.
You can't be quoting, they're out
idiotic. And that's the problem. Everybody just says stupid things for clip and to go viral. You sound like a complete buffoonery. And I don't care who you are. I don't care how many followers you got. I don't care how much money you got. You're a buffoon. And you deserve to be with the rest of the buffoons at the circus behind the cage. I pay money to come see you, and I leave. That's where you belong.
I'll say this. I think, and I think this is where, in any type of space in life, or maybe any type of group or ideology, whether it's religion or whatever else, it has to be aligned. And I even think, in a certain type of, certain type of social groups as well, it needs to be aligned. I think in a particular, whether it's the manosphere or feminism or whatever, I think people sometimes take these groups and they just take it way left. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, like as far as feminism, like, yeah, okay, we want women to be empowered, but it can't be where like women are like, I don't need no man, period. Like, men are just useless. And then when people start thinking about like, oh, I want to delete, certain races of certain men, and it starts just going way left. Like, all right, cool, it's cool to have for women to have rights, but now you're talking about deleting men, like it goes way left. And I think it's the same thing when it comes to the manosphere. It's all right for people to, it's all right for men to have voices and for them to express how they feel. I don't think anybody, is telling people not to say how they feel. I think in this day and age, we want to hear how people feel. We want to hear their perspectives. We want to hear their thoughts. We want to hear all that, and that's what social media is essentially for. It's a tool for information, but also it's a tool for us to connect with each other, right? And kind of grow and be better and things of that nature, right? So it's a combination of both. When we use it for those, when it's actually being used for its true purpose. But in that, like, and I know a lot of manosphere rhetoric is about, being strong and men ain't supposed to cry and all this other stuff. But then there's a point where they just go way left. And this is one of them way left points. Like, the amount of trauma that you will experience or can experience when it comes to bullying or, being basically dehumanized and basically treated as somebody lesser, or being treated like you're less than a human, that takes a toll on people that goes through years. And there's studies on this too. You know what I mean? There's actual studies on this and how it affects the brain, how it affects somebody's emotions, how it affects their views on life, how it affects their views on themselves. You know, and a lot of times people, you know, think about deleting themselves, and some people actually do delete themselves based on this. You know, the after effects of the trauma of bullying is very real, and it travels through all social relationships. It's hard for people who've been bullied a lot of times to build good foundational relationships. It's hard for them to really be productive in life as citizens because of all the trauma that they have based on that. Now, I do believe that, you know, in relationships, like, yeah, certain relationships are going to be difficult, right? Like, not every relationship is going to be you and your best friend. So if you think everybody going to be like your best friend that you grow up with, then you're being delusional, right? So yes, we're going to have difficulties in relationship. And that's, you know, that's something that is, how can I say, it's something that's logical and it's something that is actually going to happen. And we know that it will happen in life, right? But that's the difference between that and bullying. You know, essentially bullying, you are completely, you know, trying to strip that person, you know, of their confidence, you know, of their self-love, you know what I mean, and just who they are as a person. You literally are just trying to destroy that person by your actions, whether you know it or not know it. You know, that's what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So I think when the manosphere, they just got to stop going way left on certain things. Stop trying to be to the point where you are making it seem like people got to be, you know, so strong and this, that, and the third, and not show no pain or whatever. Because it's like, you know, that's just toxic masculinity. Because it's like, you always say that, you know, men ain't supposed to cry or be sissies, or people, you know, people can't be so emotional, men can't be so emotional. But that's easy for you to say. But if, you know, if somebody shoots you in your foot, your punk ass gonna be crying, and all that masculinity and all that toughness gonna go right out the window. Somebody shooting you right in your foot. I'm not even shooting you nowhere else. I'm shooting you right in your foot. You know what I mean? I want you to still be tough. Don't cry. You say y'all don't cry. Just keep the same energy. But see, that can't happen. You know what I mean? You're gonna show emotion, right? You're gonna cry. You're gonna feel away. You know what I mean? So I think that's where they got some going way left. A lot of times they just go way left, and this is one of them examples. So yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, Bess. 1 second. I gotta bring someone in here real quick. Rush, before I bring you up in here, I gotta make sure you verify your voice, my brother. You know, I gotta do that to everyone now these days.
Oops.
Thanks to the
You
trolls.
must verify. That's cool.
What happened?
It's me, your boy here.
All right. You said
Rush,
you
what
heard.
up, man? What up?
What up,
Rush?
Salute.
Salute, brother.
Yeah, salutes to you, man. You know, it was good seeing you on Bruce's Network earlier today. So, you heard?
Yeah, because you know what I'm saying, I be in the chat trolling, man. You know, I be in my troll bag, you heard? So, you know, I had to go and cam up and show some love. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yes,
Cammed up now.
Oh, she called you out, brother. You gonna let sweet Jasmine, call you out like that?
I ain't gonna cam up right now. Nah, I'm good.
Man, he said he ain't ready for the Jasmine smoke though. But I feel you though, Rush, man. But look, man, Rush, you know, you have like any questions, man, like, you know, about Jasmine, want to get to know her a little bit more. Tonight she's the all-star of the show.
Word up. Yeah, man. I guess from reading the title on the thumbnail, it informs us that you came out with a book, and I'm curious.
Floating.
Oh, okay. So you just came out with it?
No, I have 8,000 words left on the redraft, so speaking it into existence.
I'm just curious, like, what's the premise on the book? Like, what's it about? Just give me like a brief synopsis about it.
So I was bullied on a college team, and it was based on race. They didn't want me to try out for the team because they didn't want more than 2 Black girls on the team. And so it's about like that journey and going from, you know, being a bully to becoming a bullying advocate or anti-bullying advocate. So it's a memoir, but it's in a series of essays, and it's addressing like different issues within the educational system that plague Black students when it comes to bullying.
Okay, that's dope.
Thank
You
you.
know, a lot of people probably relate to that. You know what I mean? Due to the fact that you're speaking about I guess the troubles you went through going to college or whatever. You know, like not like when people think about college, they don't think about getting punked. You know what I mean? So, you know, for you know, to go through that kind of form of I guess harassment or abuse, you know, you never think about that when you go to college. You know.
Yeah, and it's you know, unfortunately, it happens a lot. That's like kind of what I've learned like through the process of writing the book. Like, you know, one of the situations that I related to is there's this school, I believe it's in Mississippi. It's a college, it's a junior college, and the women's basketball coach was like told, you know, you need to get rid of some of the Black players because we need a team that reflects our community, which means they want a white basketball team. And he refused to, and so he got fired. But the football players are facing the same kind of thing, and I was reading an article on it, and one of the football players said, you know, he told his coach like, hey, can I miss this practice because I need to finish an English assignment, and the coach said okay. The next thing he knows, he's kicked off the team, and he's like, the coach told me it was okay. But he said that there has been 24 members of the football team kicked off since the beginning of the season, and all of them were Black. So it's like, you know, this school is like actively trying to make it white again. And like,
I'm not surprised because, you know, places like Mississippi, Louisiana, like they old school with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you don't see a lot of racial discrimination out there because you know, they stuck on their old school traditional ways, man. You know what I mean? So I'm not shocked that to hear that goes on in Mississippi or Louisiana, because it's like, yeah, I know what time it is when you speak about those certain states. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I'm in the DMV. I didn't think, you know, it would be what it was where I was at, but you find those little pockets of it.
Word up. It's good to speak about those things, man. You know, to you know, let people know and to be aware what goes on to those in those certain states. Because, like, personally, I'll never go to Mississippi or Louisiana because I know what time it is when you go out there. You know what I mean? Especially if you got, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't even know I was muted. But yeah, it shows that, you know, Jasmine definitely does you know, have a good purpose. And, you know, through her experience of what she went through, it just pretty much allowed her to make two choices. You could either give up or you could make yourself stronger. You know, and if you could make yourself stronger, just strong enough to pretty much help other people, you know, to avoid those same, you know, type of problems that she had went through with, you know, racism and all that, then, hey man, you're doing God's work. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I don't know, anytime though. Oh, anybody else have anything else to say? I know we're at the 2-hour mark right now, so, you know, I don't know if you have a bedtime or not, Jasmine, so I ain't trying to hold you up.
I'm good.
Okay. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have any questions or anything you want to talk about?
You tell me.
All right. Well, look. All right. I know I did say I was gonna get back to basketball for a minute, and I know we started talking about a lot of other topics, right? Now, look. Let's talk about, okay, if one day, okay, if I ever meet you in person, you know, you gotta tell the viewers how bad you gonna get schooled by M3 who don't play basketball that well.
How about this? How about we play I'm gonna beat you, then that has to be like the intro for the next episode you do.
Oh, okay.
Like a 5-minute
And
intro.
we'll make you a meme. We'll make him a
And one
meme
tape.
when you dunk on that dome piece.
Oh, see, we was talking about anti-bullying, and y'all see, that's what I'm talking about. It's that contradiction, man. You know, that stems from feminism, right? See, and that equality BS. Look. Let me tell you something, right? All right. Not only I think, okay, that I could beat you on basketball, right? But I could beat you on the other court too. See, the thing is, y'all don't want to talk about the other side of the court where, you know, it takes like 2 rackets and a small little tennis ball. Y'all don't want to talk about how people get spanked playing me in like in tennis. You know, let's talk about that. You know,
I have nothing to say about tennis. You might
Exactly. Freaking.
I know. See, look, anybody could shoot a ball into a basket, right?
But nah, that was like you pulled out polo. Like who smack talks with golf? You feel me? Like that's what you just did.
Hold on. Don't compare a good sport into the association of golf, okay? You know, and don't even sleep on golf like that. Look, if I was a pro golfer, I'll be the best, like, you know, like trash talking pro golf. Even though I don't know nothing about it, but still.
That's why you're not.
Whatever. The point is, you just give me a ball and give me like a couple hours to learn how to dribble, and I'll tell you, like, not only like, you know, I won't be like,
oh,
you know,
yeah, you're getting put on the mixtape, buddy. When we play, it's gonna be the intro. Bet.
Okay, so okay.
No, you're shaking my hand when we play. You're making
yeah. We could definitely shake on that. We could definitely shake. Okay. And then, you know what? We could shake those ankles that you have that's going to be loose too, though. All right, it's going to be liquidated by the time I cross you overtime. Doesn't matter though. See, look. All I have to do is just learn how to shoot like Curry, and that's it. See, I used to be like a bad dribbler like
that
Shaq.
happens overnight.
But I have the skills of Curry. Okay, it's my inners that just need to come out.
What kind of shot was that? Oh my goodness!
Hold on.
That looked like
the Dougie.
Fly.
No.
That looked like you get a mosquito out your face.
Right.
You see people, right? Look, hold on. Let me zoom in myself. You see how I'm getting bullied, people. All right, you know, and I'm being double teamed. Look, I'm a victim right now, okay? But still I rise. Still I rise. I'm not gonna cry about it, right? But y'all gonna be crying once I start showing like these free throw shots, okay? So I'm telling you, don't sleep on these hands though. These
from your Nerf basketball court right in the backyard. He got a Fisher Price basketball court. He be dunking on his Fisher Price basketball court. Nothing but Jordan air, right?
Hold on. Some of y'all not even talking about to even reach that. So, you know, I got an advantage over y'all. I'm gonna be like dunk like this, like bam, you know? I don't even need to jump. Okay? That's how good I would be.
Okay. What do you say?
All right. But anyways, what up, fellas? Like, you know, you guys have any other comments? And then people in the chat, if you guys watching, feel free to come up as well too before we wind up closing out. Because right now, like, you know, Jasmine, she's sleep on my future movements though, so it's all right. It's all good.
Okay.
See, she just gave me the okays now. She's like, all right. She's like, man, you just talking and you're just irrelevant. See, I don't like how you treat me right now, Jasmine. We're just like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, I think Jasmine talking mad crazy right now. I don't think she can handle you.
Too.
Nah, you me. You getting dunked on by me. Huh?
Mixaholics.
What you mean by that?
You remember like 2000s when it'd be like one of those songs you had to download off the internet? Mixaholics. Where'd you get this, son? That's what I'm gonna be on the mixtape. Because your ankle's gonna be broke.
Hey,
That's
you
what I
got
mean.
jokes.
Oh my gosh.
Mixaholics.
I like your sense of humor. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
You're real funny.
I like it. It's a little subtle. You gotta catch on to it a little bit, but if she believes she's gonna mix us up, then hey, duly note that. I'll be looking for the reverse mixtape real soon, anyways.
Okay. You gonna be on it. What you mean? You gonna be on the mixtape.
Hey, the only time I'll be on the mixtape when I'm just singing like poor Jasmine. Poor Jasmine. Get her ankles loose. Shake, shake, shiver. That's all.
Okay.
But anyways, all right. So I think this is pretty much it at this point. But Jasmine, I want to thank you for allowing us to give you this fun interview. And thank you for sharing so about like your book, your reasons why that you write your book, your motive to it. And I just wanted to say, best of luck, for you and your endeavors, and continue on to continue on with your book, Like I said, man, when that gets finished, you let me know so I could download it off of like Amazon Kindle right away. And I better hear like voice narration too. Okay, you gotta add some voice narration.
You think I can voice it?
You want me to voice? No. See, I don't put. No, I can't do that. See, my voice is too deep. You know what I mean? Imagine me saying like, "Oh, hey, welcome everybody. This is your girl Jasmine." No, I can't do that. You got the voice for it, Jasmine. You got that sweet, subtle, yeah. Okay. You got that Kindle like type of voice where it's like soothing.
Like I cannot listen to audiobooks, man. Like my dad would listen to like the John Grisham novels or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm like, bruh, I need to read it. I need to like physically see it. I feel like that would put me to sleep.
I need to see that too. I want to hear the audio, but I also want to see the words as well too. That's me. I want to have it all. Okay.
Gotcha. Kate, you need it too. Got you.
This is not your Dr. Seuss read alongs M3.
Well, if I rule the world, I could look. I would add that as my options. Okay. Which, although there are some books that actually allow you to follow on and read while they're talking to you, so those type of books or narrations, I like that. But if you're gonna put a book out there, Jasmine, especially for Amazon, you gotta do the narration of it.
Okay.
Do not hire Queen to do the voice acting for you though. Okay. Be authentic. Be original. I'm telling you, it'll be nice. Dope.
Anyway, whatever.
See, now who are you bullying now?
Huh?
Did nothing to you. I said he's trying to bully you now for no reason.
See that, Jasmine? It's all good.
Wait, you said I'm trying to do what?
You're bullying her for no reason.
That's right.
How did I bully Queen? I just said don't hire her. That's all.
Well, why?
Yeah.
Well, do you want your books to be messed up?
Wow. Disrespectful. It's all good. Well,
don't worry. I'm gonna get him back on the court. I'm gonna break his ankles for you.
Don't break his ankles. Break his kneecaps.
Wow.
I got
Send
you.
him home in thigh-high boots, caskets. You're gonna have on the thigh highs.
Hey man, y'all wrong. Y'all gonna be having me crying like remember like Marion, like on the episode, like we played like the young kid, what's his name? Rufus or something. I can't even think the kid's name that he be playing. That would be have me walking my kneecaps on a wheelchair.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. I forgot the name.
Yeah, I forgot though. Right? I think it started with M, but yeah.
He always got a snotty nose and selling candy.
Yeah.
But that's
Salute
cool.
to Big Podcast.
What?
You wasn't gonna say anything though, but
Yeah,
go ahead
I
and
was
think of
thinking, I
something.
was gonna say, see, he's still bothering me. But you know what? I ain't worried about you with your empty stadium.
Okay.
Go sell some tickets. That's why you got an empty stadium behind you. Nobody came to see you get your ankles broken.
All right. Hey, it's all to the good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're aware that Jasmine's quality is a little laggy, but I mean, if you came earlier, Great Pill Podcast, like it was HD quality for a minute.
Jasmine, I was gonna say, did you hear? I saw. You know how sometimes they have those little news clips or little YouTubes about different stories about young people, and there was this one young girl who was, I guess she took to social media, like talking about her situation, her life, and pretty much used social media as her comfort. Young girl, and she was practicing how to go live and hang herself. And one of the people in the comments, they was like, because she was live and she was like, I'm gonna do it. And they said that the way she had planned it, because the way she had her camera, it looked as if she did it in a bathroom. That she had practiced it because her camera was positioned like perfectly to catch her hanging in the stall. And like people in the comments like, oh, you're a punk, you're not going to do it, you so ugly, you whack, you a weakling, you're not going to do it. And even her mom had made a comment, and and she did it. I think she was like 14.
What? No, I didn't see that.
It was I'll find it, I'll send it to you. But it was like one of those kind of like little YouTube videos on there's people who go, the tragic story of this person, different stories about people you don't necessarily hear about all the time. But yeah, it was really sad.
That's crazy.
And she went live and she did it. Yeah. So that's why I say bullying these days it's a different beast. Like if you had, you get a wedgie, like you said, you get someone put something on the back of your shirt, it goes away. There's no pictures, there's no memory of it. Eventually it dies off. But because social media, we have YouTube, we have videos, it stays there forever, and it gets shared a lot and passed around a lot and viewed a lot, and that's the biggest thing. I think bullies are punks. They're just insecure people that are jealous, and usually bullies are people who were bullied. So it's a perpetual cycle.
Yeah, I don't. Because happy people don't bully.
They don't mess with the people who can beat them up. They don't mess with the strong people. They mess with weaker people. So when you mess with weaker people, that means that you're insecure and you're weak.
Yeah, because I just don't feel like happy people, bother other people because you're happy. So it's like, why would you take the time to do certain things? Like, even like in high school, I had this thing happen, and it has nothing to do with anything. But it was like, so my high school is across the street from a mall, and at this point, they had like this like modeling thing that was going around, and they had a station like set up in the mall, and a lot of kids would go over there after school, and so I didn't go, but like I got this call, and it was like from like the modeling people. And I was like, I didn't put my name in there. And they were like, well, your name was in here a lot. People at your school must think you're pretty. So I was excited. I was like, oh, because I never thought of myself as pretty. So then like I told my parents, and they were excited because like they knew I never thought of myself like that. And so they were like trying to come up with money for it. And I was making them watch America's Next Top Model with me. So then like a month or two after the fact, like, you know, my parents were getting the money like together to try to like help me do it. And I was at lunch and I was talking about it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Maybe like next month we'll have enough money. And then one of the girls was like, you know, that was done for a joke, right? Like, we did that because people thought it would be funny. Like, essentially that you thought you were pretty. And I was just like, oh. No. And it hurt my feelings. But, you know, even at that, like, that was a lot. Like, I feel like if you were happy, you wouldn't go out of your way, you know, to hurt somebody. Because that would never be, like, a thought that occurred in my head to do to somebody.
Yep. And, yeah, bullying Bill's character, clown.
Right.
I mean, like I said, like, and I'm not even gonna play devil's advocate for that one. So you entertain that thought.
Please don't.
Yeah, I just look at it like this, like a more positive way of saying, well, what could have been said that, look, you know, you have two choices. You know, you could find a way to stand up for yourself and then try to get some help, or you could use that as an excuse to not really want to put the work into it. Not trying to call anybody like victims or anything like that, but I mean, yeah, in this day and age, like, you know, bullying is rough. And, you know, I don't really promote people to really get bullied at all, especially like in this time, you know. I think that, you know, I think it is like a stigma, maybe insecurity. And you are right, Queen. Like, most bullies usually pick on like the weak people. But someone that is like mentally stronger than them, like, they're not gonna really say that much. So if anything, maybe a solution for the ones who probably got bullied in the past, hey, just work on your smarts. Work on, like, you know, your verbal comebacks or whatever.
But even with that, it's like,
yeah.
You know, sometimes or a lot of times it's like they don't do anything when the person is being bullied, but then once they snap back, it's like, you know,
then they get in trouble.
Okay. Exactly. Like, you know, I know I keep mentioning like random things, but there's a case in Texas that happened this year, and it was this girl, and she was supposed to be the valedictorian. It was a black girl. She was supposed to be valedictorian, and her parents moved to Texas. And she just started getting called the N-word. You know, there were variations of monkey and different things. She even recorded one of the boys like calling her the N-word, and the school wasn't doing anything about it. Mm-hmm. So after months of it, a boy called her that, and like she hit him in the head, and like she didn't do any damage, but she hit him in the head, and so she ended up having to go to like this juvie school where she had to wear orange. They're not allowed to talk unless spoken to. And so I think she was there for like 3 months, but she ended up going back to normal school. But now it's like she might even graduate, where she was supposed to be the valedictorian. And, you know, she tried to kill herself, and thankfully like her parents intervened. But it's just like, even when you're doing the right thing, like part of me feels like, and there are other students that are experiencing like the racial bullying too, but I feel like she was specifically targeted because she was supposed to be the valedictorian, and they didn't want a black person to be the valedictorian. So it's just like, I feel like there's too much like onus placed on the person that's being bullied to be like, okay, stronger, you know, use it as fuel, whatever. Whereas it should be on the one that's actually bullying to, like, you know, not be mean, not be, bless you, not be rude, not be harmful.
But
yeah, all of that could have been avoided.
But it's the same thing as saying, like, you as you know, like, you're supposed to be emotionally strong. Half these people, you know, half of us are, you know, not emotionally strong. Someone hurt our feelings or do something crazy to us. We in our feelings. That's why you got road rage. That's why you got all kind of stuff, because people don't handle being disrespected the same way. So to put that on adolescents who's still developing, and these kids are not even being bullied just in like junior high, high school. This is like elementary. This is it starts really young what these kids are going through. So, emotionally, mentally, they're not come on, they're just still trying to find themselves. But, that's why they need an aunt like me. So I come up there and handle business. I'm the mama, daddy, auntie, uncle. What you need, grandma? I'm the village. Who you messing with? What? Anyway, I ain't play that.
Okay.
It empowers the bully, because then they're not going to stop, and they're going to get to working in corporate, and they really think this is how you can move with people, and it's just going to get worse and worse. That's whose behavior needs correcting, because happy people don't do things like this.
No, secure people don't do that.
Yes.
Yes. That's the problem.
Yeah, and secure people don't really waste a lot of time on that foolishness.
No,
anyway.
you ain't got time for that. Get out of here.
See, and that's why I don't really have time to engage in all this foolishness that be going around. I have time to talk about it for the sake of YouTube, but other than that, it's a whole different story. Well, look, Jasmine, I'm not gonna hold you up because I know it's getting late on your side, and
I'm gonna get to typing.
They're about to turn off.
Definitely.
They're about to turn off the stadium lights. M3. You better hurry up. They're kicking you out. The control booth is closing.
All right, I'll take that. I just, I know, if we don't wrap it up soon, Jasmine's hotspot or Wi-Fi or whatever is going to start going to sleep.
Why would you bring that up? You already had the gray pill call me laggy, and then you brought up my hotspot. That's crazy.
See what I mean? It never ends. Never ends.
That's not bullying. I was just being honest. I'm just being considerate. See, Jasmine, wait, don't look at me like that. Please don't. I gotta take it the wrong way. Oh, wow, really, Jasmine? You going? So we doing that? We're gonna have a staring contest? Really, for real?
Yeah.
Okay. Look.
Yeah, we're not.
Don't take it like that. Don't be so sensitive like Queen. But yeah. Otherwise, other than that, thank you everybody for tuning into Knowledge and Relationships. Thank you for the ones who's been rocking with us, to support Jasmine. Definitely go support her in her book, especially when it comes out. Jasmine, if you want to shout out your social media or anybody else, feel free to do so.
Well, my social media is just my name, Jasmine, Jasmine, Orsted, Orsted, on everything. If anybody has their kid is going through bullying, or they know somebody, and maybe I could be a resource, whether that is, saying what happened to me, or trying to help you find out what the laws are specifically for you, then I'm not, I'm not a lawyer, but I can Google, and there are laws in every state and every county against bullying. So there's always something that can be done if the school isn't handling it properly. So that's all I have to say.
All right, for sure. We definitely appreciate that, Jasmine. Anyways, everybody, thank you for tuning into Knowledge and Relationships. Please make sure you guys get the us up, share the videos as well too. Definitely catch the replay, and also please give us some feedback as well too. It helps build up the algorithm. Other than that, Jasmine, it was definitely fun having you over here, and hopefully we'll see you again next time. All right. So good night, everyone. Peace.
knowledge and relationships,